Welcome to the Microsoft Publisher application course. In this video, we'll continue with working with layouts in the publication, and we will be basically looking at two topics: changing page setup, which will show you how to change the margins of your page, the orientation of your page, and the size of your page. And then we will briefly show you how to insert date and time in your publication. So let's pull up one of the publication. To change the margins of your page or the page setup, so for example, if you look at the end of each page here, the side left and right and top and bottom, there is a distance between the end, let's say the left side, and when the text starts being typed in, and also where it will end, and a certain distance. So between this line, which is the margin, to the end, this is your margin, and at the top, this is also your top margin. This is your left margin, and there's also the bottom margin. Now you can change the size of that, and you can also change the look of this page, whether it's tall like this, or it will be wide, that is turning it 90 degrees. Or you can also change the size by choosing what type of paper you want, A4 or other kind of papers, depending on what you're preparing. For birthday cards, the size will be different. So let's start by changing the margin. So stay on any page in your publication, go to page design menu, and under margins, so here you can change the margins, here you can change the orientation, and here you can change the size. So let's start with this. Otherwise, you can go to page setup and you can choose what you want. So if you go to page setup, there you see everything here, but we will come back to this later. So let's go out for now. Let's do each of them one after the other. So for margins, I will click the drop down of margins, so I can go to custom margins, and here I have this box which tells me my margins. And so here, when I change the values in each of this box, my left margin, my right margin, my top and bottom, watch the preview box. So let's increase. If I increase it, you see that the blue line is getting wider and wider into the page and away from the black border. So see that? And I can do the same for the right, can do the same for the top, can do the same for the bottom. So it's up to you what kind of margin you want to use here. Okay, and when you're done, you simply click OK, and you see that your page margin will be reduced. So, and that's what you see here in this one. So if you want to undo it, you just simply click undo, and we go back to the normal one. Now you can also change the orientation or look of your page by going to page design, orientation, either portrait or landscape. So we are currently using a portrait orientation. For landscape, you click landscape, and basically you see how it looks like. So it will look wide instead of straight, and notice that the box where your text are typed now is still remaining portrait, so you can adjust it by clicking on the handle to make it fit into your page. So this is what makes Publisher a bit more flexible compared to Word. Although you do a little work, but you can do things the way you want, and you can move this into that. Okay, so that's about landscape and portrait. So let's go back and let's undo what we've done. We undo everything, and here we can change back to page design, orientation, portrait, and we get back what we have. And we can increase the view to 100. Let's go to 100. And the last thing we want to show you is the size. So you can choose the paper size you want. So here I go to page design, size. Currently it's A4, and if you're familiar with the sizes of different paper and you know the name, you can choose from here. So let's say I want B5, which is a little bit bigger paper. Click it, and this is what it looks like. I go back, let's see, executive, yeah, so, and let's say letter. So there are so many of them. Otherwise you can create a new page size on your own, and or you can go to page setup, and with page setup you can determine what is the width of your page, how you want it, and the height of your page. And you can also set the margins here as well. You can select the type of paper if you want, and I think if you type the width, you probably don't need to do this. And here in the layout you can decide, you know, for example, 1 page per sheet. So I'm going to have 1 page per sheet of paper when I print, or I want to have full dead card, so my page will look like this. So let's click OK and see what this looks like. Okay, and this will be like a folded card, you know, so where you can fold, so you can print, you can use this, make your design and print it out in a certain paper, and you can fold the paper and it will look like you actually printed it out, like with a normal big physical printing machine and the industrial printer situation. So we will undo all we have done, so let's undo that and try to come back to the normal situation. This is it, and come to 100, and practically this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.